Hello everybody and welcome to the Teacher Eye update video for November. Let's jump straight into it. So, some key messages from our centres. It's very important that now we've changed subject areas, so for Year 5 we've gone on to Maths and English, and for Year 4 we're now doing non-verbal reasoning, that you go through and remind your children to take out any of the old material from their bags. So in this case, old material will be old homework sheets, potentially old spelling sheets. These are things you may not want to get rid of, but certainly spelling sheets can be used later, but not kept in the bag, not kept in the folder, because this obviously adds to the amount of confusion. And it's equally especially important to take out any of the old books, because obviously it can be really bag down the bags, make them very heavy, cause them to rip, and so please do, if you can, go through, have a good clear out, especially as now we're past the second week, there won't be any homework from block 1, so we really won't need any of that material. One thing I should say that we will certainly need access to is your student passport. That will stay with you for the entirety of the year, especially important now as that is where the spellings are to be found for each block. So rather than having the spelling sheet that we would normally have, the spellings can be found in your student passport. If for whatever reason that's gone missing, of course, please don't hesitate to have a look online, where you'll also be able to find an updated version of the spellings on the student portal. As always, please make sure you're arriving to your lessons punctually. We like to start bang on time. Every hour is so vital that we get the most out of it. Being punctual can really help us make a start. It's worth noting that if you are struggling with homework and you do want a bit more feedback, a bit more support, either from the tutor or even from one of the markers, please, we would encourage you to just leave a post-it note inside, marking that out, just asking for a bit of extra assistance. And in the break time or the start of the lesson, the tutor knows to make some time to go through it. Really useful way of doing it. This is also a great way to utilise the huddles. I know parents have been really enjoying getting a chance to have a little chat with the tutors and find out what they've done and possibly get some tips from the lesson. But this is also a great opportunity for you to ask any pertinent questions that the parents have right then and there from your tutors each week. So please do make the most of those, because we know the feedback from the huddles has been fantastic. Some other notices. Year 5 Maths Masterclasses are coming starting in January, so the first lesson will be on the 10th of January. These are going to take place on Wednesday afternoon. The masterclasses we know are fantastic. They enable you to sort of target a couple of key areas, or potentially, select the whole lot and just run with those as a little bit of a maths booster. They're really valuable. We're going to cover a whole range of things: algebra, fractions, measurements, decimals, percentages. Many of these will be touched on, of course, in the normal Teacher Eye course, but if you want a little bit of support or you want a little bit of a boost in a certain area, they're a fantastic resource to make the most of. It's also true of the Key Stage 2 Creative Writing Masterclasses. So these were incredibly successful. They've actually been fully booked for the run we've just had, but they've been popular enough and enough parents have reached out that we are potentially bringing more lessons into January. So if that is something that would interest you, do keep an eye out, because they will be coming for January 2024. Obviously there'll be a rerun of the same materials, so if there was a particularly brilliant one that you want to come to again, that's fine, but this is more for parents who perhaps would have missed out and after they were fully booked wanted more. Again, we know the masterclasses are really useful, and again, you may just want brilliant beginnings, eventful endings, the big right at the end. You may want to just target certain areas or show up for all 6. This is especially useful if you're going for Reading Boys or considering any kind of independent school area entry where we know the creative writing features much more heavily than it would in the normal 11+. Really important as well, free non-verbal parent reasoning workshop coming up. The way you'll do that is you'll book onto it via the Teacher Eye website. You can see on the right there it says event bookings, parent workshops. This is going to be held from 4 till 6 on the 19th of November via Zoom. Again, we know the parents who are more involved, who turn up, get the hints and tips, who understand how it works, are then far better able to support their students. And we know the better supported the students, of course, the better they're going to do. So it's really valuable, well worth attending. You'll get all sorts of hints and tips with how to best help. I think, again, having that empathy and understanding as well of what these challenging questions can be like will really help you relate and support your child. So please do, if you can attend, do make the effort, because it's really useful. It's nearly Christmas time, so just to pre-warn everyone that there will be a fantastic Christmas quiz coming up. We try and run a Christmas quiz every year. In this case, it will be our Christmas competition. Simply, this will be handed out for us, and you'll need to print this out, possibly online. This will be emailed out and handed out as well. Just please do make sure that it comes back to our Christmas elves, also known as our markers, so you would just hand this in along with normal homework. The closing date for that will be the 17th of December, and then once you've entered, presuming you get full marks, you'll be entered into our draw, and the winner will be selected the following week, and then you'll be sent out goodies and winnings. I think you'll be given a free copy of Qubits and potentially some other goodies to go along with it, so it's well worth entering. both as just a bonus to doing some extra little Christmas quiz work, but also to see if you can win yourself a little bonus Christmas present. Another exciting thing, our winter vocabulary monster quiz is coming up. We run these vocabulary quizzes primarily over the summer holidays as a fantastic way of boosting vocabulary in the run up to the exams. But we like to do over the special holidays a free one here and there, and this is absolutely completely free. So just as long as you book in, you're more than welcome to come. It's going to be on December the 18th from 5 till 6 o'clock. Again, you'd book online at teacherright.com. Well worth coming to. We tend to have loads of kids. They're really fun. It's just an array of quizzes, activities, questions. There may be some Christmas-themed quiz questions thrown in there in addition to the normal verbal and non-verbal. Actually, maybe even some maths and English. We tend to be a bit more free with what we throw in there for the monster quiz on these special occasions. But hopefully it should be a really good activity and a nice little bit of revision, but hopefully in a really fun way. So it's well worth trying out as well, just so you know if you may be potentially interested come the summer. Homework support club. Obviously, guys, it's really important you make the most out of these homework support clubs. We have had a couple of parents for year 4 question what can they do if they can't make Tuesday. We don't actually run any year 4 lessons on Tuesdays, but if it was for a really short question that you just wanted to pop into the Monday year 5 call, I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be appropriate. It was just checking. Obviously, all our tutors are really experienced, and there's no year 5 tutor who wouldn't be able to assist with a year 4 question. But otherwise, of course, it comes back to then making the most of those huddles, and again, making the most of those notes and post-it notes that you can send back to make sure that your tutors are reinforcing the work. But we also know students do like to make the most of the homework club where they can just work in conjunction, work quietly with their other students. It kind of gives them a set time to sit down to work. So really valuable. So please do, if you haven't given it a go, just give it a try. It may well be a bit of routine that your child finds is really useful. And as always, if you do have a couple of quick little questions, the fact that you've got a tutor on call ready that you can sort of just touch base with and have a chat is really useful as well. So please do continue to use it for that purpose. Right, now, on to the tip of the week, English. In this case, I just wanted to review one of the most common question types. This shows up a lot in, for example, GL, and it's the spelling section. So in this case, we've got a section of sort of 4 questions, along with an example. So this passage contains some spelling mistakes. Each of the numbered lines will either have one mistake in it or no mistakes. And what you have to do is for each line is work out if there is a spelling mistake, where it is, and then you select the section. So in this case, looking at the example, dancing is my favourite hobby. I go every Saturday morning without fail. Our possible options are going to be A, B, C, D, or N for none. And in this case, because it's the example, I don't mind showing you, the answer is A, because favourite has been spelt incorrectly. It's missing that U there, so favourite. And this would be, the answer given would of course be A, but it's well worth sometimes, especially if you've got a little bit of extra time left over, writing out the corrected spelling. Certainly I would recommend doing this while you're practicing, just so you can ensure that you've correctly selected the right option. It can be, if you get a little bit lucky, that you might have thought, dancing was spelled incorrectly, so you still got away with answer A. That's why I'd encourage making a note of what you thought the spelling was. But the answer in this case is A. So what I would suggest, everyone, is get your kids in, have a pause, run through these 3 questions, give it a go, and then I'll reveal the answers. So if you pause the video now, okay, I'm going to start running through them. So in this case, for me to be able to watch the days and months spin by was an incredible sight. Well, in this case, the answer is, of course, D, incredible, as opposed to able. So the answer is D, because of the A in incredible. Number 2, the time traveller was gripped by unusual sensations as he rode the machine. Here comes the answer. And of course, it's sensations. So you can see here, SANSATIONS, as opposed to what we've got here, which is, of course, a mistake. Finally, we have number 3. It is generally considered by scientists to be impossible to travel through time. And of course, the answer for this one is generally, as opposed to generally. We need that ally, A-L-L-Y at the end there, which is really important. It's worth noting that an answer like impossible would be impossible, because there's no way for us to distinguish where that spelling mistake is. So you're very unlikely to have an answer that sort of straddles 2 words here. So if that is given to you as an option, you can probably discount it as not being one, because there's no clear way to distinguish what group it belongs to. Whereas you can see here, generally fully fits within section A. Our resource feature, obviously coming up to Christmas, is a nice chance to get some fun and games, but we absolutely do recommend these revision flashcards. They do many flavours or many types of flashcards. We know there's vocabulary flashcards, which are fantastic, but also actually mathematics flashcards, perhaps something that's a bit less known, a bit less popular. In this case, they go through all sorts of math concepts, all the rules and laws. They're going to have various things like angle laws, how to do things, so like perimeter area style questions, hints and tips. So these are really useful, and especially as a revision resource if you're completing, as we come on later into the year, if you're completing a past paper and you've got your little stash of flashcards that are sort of the ones areas that you can't quite remember. It's really a great way of the kids learning and practicing. So they flick through the flashcards, they find perhaps the example or the rule they need and utilise it. And that act of flashing through, working their way through the flashcards and then using them to support them in a quiz or a test can really help them learn the material on the flashcards. So they're fantastic, and in this case they're segregated into mastered and to-do cards, so little activities for you to do within those as well. And they've even got 10 blank cards that you can add in any areas that they may well have missed. So really recommend flashcards in general, but also certainly something you may not consider, which are these maths flashcards as well. And again, available on Amazon. If you have a look here, we would certainly recommend them. Just a final summary then of important dates. So the online non-verbal reasoning parent workshop starting from 4 to 6 on the 19th. Again, free for everyone to get involved with. Of course, our homework club, free for every Monday and Tuesday. Please do make the most of it. Do utilise it if it would help. And then finally, our final end of Christmas date, or our final end of Christmas lesson, is Sunday the 17th of December. So that means, of course, any lessons after Sunday that you would expect to have won't resume until January. So please don't be turning up, for example, on Monday the 18th. There would be no lessons then. Right, everybody, I hope that was clear and useful. Thank you so much. Any questions, as always, reach out to your tutor in the huddles or drop the office an email. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.